What's up, everyone? I know it's been a while, but I'm back with another song breakdown. I wanted to show you guys how I produced Marlin's latest track called Wanted to Know. And yeah, it's a really fun track. I love how it turned out. So let's get right into it. So basically, when me and Marlin do songs, there's many different ways that we go about it. In this case, I actually made the beat. And when I had the chords and everything, I actually came up with the top lines as well. So I sent the top lines and the beat to Marlin, and she really liked it. Just for you to have an idea how that sounds, I'm going to play the voice note that I sent to Marlin.
When the fuck when I stand on it more, you mad at me with your hurry on. Now from when I stand on it more, I wanna get it down but now and then and you wanna feel it from my soul, and you wanna feel my na but then I put it as I said it
And then I had the hook as well.
wanted to know, and you wanted to know, 'cause you know, I know, wanted to know, if you were to fall down, you know, I understand.
So basically, this was how the idea started. Then Marlin took the ideas and she gave it her own kind of taste and touch, which turned out to sound like this.
Picking pieces back up off the floor, just as scattered since you broke my heart. Said those pictures of us gotta go, but when you tore them apart, I couldn't hide anymore. You've been running from yourself, and he was there to hold your hand, but he's been so caught up in his work, and he couldn't explain why he was always away from you. Wanted to know if your baby is coming home. Wanted to know, is he gonna let you live?
Right. So, as I mentioned, this song actually started with the beat first. I was inspired by one of Ruben James's song. I forgot the name of it, but it's kind of a up-tempo kind of song. And I really like this drums in it. So I tried to make something similar to that. This drum sounds were kind of like, I guess, saturated and, very warm, which I tried to imitate. Sorry. So I did this by obviously choosing the right sounds. This one is one of the kicks that I used that I actually made, and that is in my drum pack. And then for the snare, I used this kind of saturated snare, made it a bit shorter. It originally was like this, but I felt like it was taking too much space. So I just took the transient of it, or the beginning of the snare. Right, and then I found this hi-hat loop. I think pretty sure it's from Splice. So it started kind of like this. One thing that gives this, this drum groove, this kind of saturated sound is, first of all, knock. I use knock on almost all my drums because I just like how it emphasizes the low end and kind of brings out the transients a bit with the punch settings, and also with the saturation, I kind of saturated it a bit. And then I also added this Wolf compressor. I just turned out the lo-fi setting a bit. I don't know what it does exactly, but this is how it was without anything. and then with knock, obviously the low end is coming out a bit more. This kind of takes out the high end as well, so it makes it feel a bit warmer. Right, and then I also have this clap sound, which is really fat and in your face, but it really brings out the drums a lot.
Put your hand.
This is basically it for the drums. There's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 elements basically. This fifth one is just a clap that I turned up the reverb to 100, the mix to 100%, so that I had like this clap really ringing out for the transition from the first part of the second verse to the pre-hook, I guess. Right, so this is basically it for the drums. So after the drums, I came up with this chord progression, and I actually used this synth called Tall You Know, which is a very nice emulation of the Juno from Roland. And I actually had this preset that I've had made like a while ago. Oh, this is the bass. Here it is. And it sounded like this. So with the drums, it sounded like this. And then once I had this progression, I was like, okay, why not make a second progression for the hook, so that kind of changes the whole vibe and it doesn't stay too monotone. So I also added this one. So yeah, that was it. And then just to give the whole synth part a bit more texture, I also added this synth hit thingy, which is a preset from Capped. He sells these analog lab presets, which I think sound amazing. So if you're interested in those, I can put the link in the description. And this one is called Love Calls. It's a lo-fi piano. And it sounds like this. Gives the whole section a bit more of the high end. A bit more energy to emphasize the hook. Yeah, and then I also added this sound, which is a pad. Also from Tall You Know. Pretty sure this is a preset from the factory that he has in here as well. So it's the phase brass preset, and yeah, it just gives it a bit more of this high end. It brings the hook out a bit more. Actually, in the beginning it was without this, and then I sent this to my my homie Shuko. Asked him what he would do to the track to make it better, if there's anything, and he said, you know, maybe add something in the hook to bring it out a bit more, because it was a bit flat, basically.
From you wanted to know.
So this was without it, and with it.
From you wanted to know.
There's just another layer that brings out everything a bit more. Yeah, so then I also added the bass line, which is one of my favorite things in this track. And it's also a sound from Juno. This preset I actually made myself as well. It's kind of similar to the main synth, actually. Just has a bit more low end. I think there's a sub that I added, and yeah, what I really like about this sound is that the sustain is very, you can really hear the note sustaining, and then the release is very short, which gives it this very kind of funky sound. Yeah, so I played this bass line with the chords, kind of following the whole rhythm. Then in the hook. One thing I did in the hook as well is automate the filter cutoff, so there's a bit more high end in the hook. Brings out everything a bit more as well. And that's almost it from the beat section. There's this guitar as well that I added. Basically just me playing the chords. I use this preset from Guitar Rig. It's actually just a Chicago amp that I use quite a lot. It's actually my basic amp that I have in my template. And then for the chorus sound, I use this Valhalla space modulator. It's actually the preset deep chorus. There's actually a free plugin that Valhalla has. You can just get it for free. Then some EQ, taking out some of the low end and some of the noise as well. And that's it with the guitar. Then in the second hook I have another synth pad. Which is this preset from, this actually is a Analog Lab preset, House in the Forest. Just adding another layer to the whole mid-range section. Right, so this is the beat basically. There really aren't too many elements in it. It's very reduced. I tried to add this ride for the hook. But then I realized this was too much and not necessary at all. So I just took it out. Right, and then we have the vocals. So here's actually how I organize my vocals. First I make one folder with the main vocal. So it's one vocal that is really in your face, that is really the main one actually in the song. And right, so we recorded this first part.
Making pieces back above the floor.
So really not much going on. I mean, just the basic things for the processing. I have some EQ, taking out the low end, boosting the high end a bit, taking out this frequency around 3 kHz. The sustained lead vocal compressor. This is a preset from Ableton that I use a lot for the main vocal. I think it sounds great. And then I have some more compression. This is the UAD LA2 silver compressor. Just taking down,
Picking pieces back above the floor.
just reducing the peaks a bit more.
'Cause they're scattered since you broke my heart.
And then finally spiff,
Picking pieces back above the floor.
removing some mouth clicks.
Picking pieces back up off the floor. Picking pieces back up off the floor. 'Cause they're scattered since you broke my heart. Said those pictures of us gotta go. But when you tore them apart, I couldn't hide.
And then in the hook,
You wanted to know, wanted to know.
I think it's the same processing actually. Oh, okay, I have some chorus on there. 5% mix, so it's very subtle.
You wanted to know, wanted to know if your baby's coming home.
Just gives it a bit of movement. One thing I did here that I sometimes do is I separated the breaths from the main part, because sometimes when you have it all together, your compressor is going to compress everything, and if the breath is kind of loud, it will make it louder as well. So if you want to avoid this, you can actually separate all the breaths, which I did here. And I just reduced the volume by 4.
Wanted to know, wanted to know.
So my goal is always to make one very clean sounding main vocal, which I did here by, first of all recording it and then using EQ and all this processing. And if I hear that, the breaths maybe are too loud and stuff, I try to really go in there and edit it so that it sounds clean. Right, so then we have the ad-libs, which are kind of minimal. I have some auto pan in here to move them around, create some movement in the track. Some EQ, give it this telephone kind of style.
Broke my heart.
Basically the same settings as the main vocal, but I just added these things before it. For reverb and delay, I'm using these returns here. So in the hook, I just have some reverb. I think it's reverb, or is it?
You
No, actually no reverb, but just
you wanted to know.
this echo boy. Giving it some movement as well. I just added this low cut in here, and then I compress it, sidechain compress it to the actual vocal, so that when the vocal actually hits, the delay goes down a bit, and then it comes up in the gaps basically.
Wanted to know.
In the verse, I have some reverb,
Pieces back up off the floor.
which here I'm using this Valhalla vintage verb preset. I'm automating the second reverb, which has a longer decay, and it's coming in here in the end of the verse
Always away from.
to kind of build some tension before the hook.
Couldn't explain why he was always away from.
We have a lot of doubles.
You've been running from yourself.
So here in the second part of the first verse, it goes up in energy, the track, which is created by these doubles.
You've been running from yourself, and he was there to hold your hand.
But also by the bass that's coming in right here, which I really love. I love this kind of, lick that I did here. So
You've been running from yourself, and he was there.
as you noticed, I often remove the S's from the doubles because they will just add up with the verse or the main vocal. So in order to avoid this, I just remove the S's manually right here.
Yourself, and he was there to hold your hand.
It sounds weird if you just hear the doubles, but together with the verse, with the main vocal, it sounds.
You've been running from yourself, and he was there to hold your hand.
Together it sounds just fine. So yeah, it's a great way to avoid too much S's. In the doubles, I have this same EQ right here, actually the same settings as the main vocal. Sustained lead vocal, I have some de-essing. I think I'm going a bit harder with the de-essing than I did with the main vocal to avoid too many frequencies in this high end region. And then some more compression as well.
You've been running from yourself, and he was there too.
So I'm panning these two to the left, 15 to the left and 15 to the right. So it's kind of, panned but not too wide. But then in the hook, I have some more doubles.
You wanted to know.
Which are a bit higher as well, so she's singing it one octave higher.
You wanted to know.
I'm panning them 20 to the left and 20 to the right.
Wanted to know if your baby's coming home.
Right, and then what I did here too is add this low one. And I think this is actually the same vocal as the main. Yeah, it's the same recording as the main one, but I just pitched it down by 12 using the complex setting. I did add some tuning and a doubler to make it a bit wider. And it's very subtle, but you can hear it in the track.
Wanted to know if your baby's coming home. Wanted to know, is he gonna let you? Yeah, you're living in a fantasy. Lose his number and let it be. Goodbye so bittersweet.
Right, and then we have some more doubles here in the verse.
Frequency, my girl, have a little these girls like you don't come easily.
Just to emphasize some phrases that she did.
Things come into your life when you're done.
Yeah, this part was actually quite fun to make. She was writing the second verse, and she had this first part, and then I came up with this lick in the bass. And then I thought, why not, sing the same thing, and then go into the second part of the second verse, which turned out to sound like this.
Come into your life when you're done. Come into your life when you're done. Falling. Done.
Guitar coming in here as well, just to give it like a new space.
Falling. Done. Calling all the wrong ones.
And then here's the part where some harmonies are coming in. We have the first harmony here before the first hook.
Couldn't explain why he was always away from.
And then in the second part of the second verse, we have these harmonies coming in.
Calling all the wrong ones. Wondering.
So it sounds like this together.
And done. Calling all the wrong ones. Wondering if he's ever coming home to you. I know that you.
Right, and then we come into the hook, the second one.
Wanted to know.
From the doubles are just the same as the first one, but then we added this harmony.
Baby's coming home.
Which I really love because it's kind of out of key, but since I'm playing this chord, this note right here, it's basically out of key, but in this chord it works because it's one note of the chord. So I really love how it sounds.
If your baby's coming home, wanted to know, is he gonna let you go? Wanted to know. Wanted to know if your baby's coming home.
So here we have these oohs, which are also really nice. First layer, then the second layer. Actually singing the same thing, but then she goes on here.
Wonder if your baby's coming home.
Doing the same thing as here, basically.
Baby's coming home.
Another layer.
Wonder if.
And one more. It's the same as well. Just panned a bit more.
Wonder if your baby's coming home.
This one, we added another layer. And then the same ending.
Wanted to know if he's gonna let you go.
Right.
Wanted to know, is he gonna let you go?
And then in the outro,
wanted to know if your baby's coming home.
I just added this part. It's actually the hook, but I just added a filter. I think it's the same as it's the ad-libs. So I just took this part and put it in the ad-libs track, so that it sounds like this.
If your baby's coming home.
One thing that I like to do in outros is to add a second, another layer at the end of the outro, so that the listener is a bit surprised and, it just sounds refreshing.
Wanted to know if your baby's coming home.
So I did this here with the guitar.
Is he gonna let you go?
Yeah, so this is basically it. Then for mixing, I didn't do much to the whole thing. I think I already showed this in the drum section. In the bass, we have some compression. Just kind of controlling the dynamics a tiny bit. We have some more compression, sidechaining. Utility, I'm using this to make the low frequencies in the bass mono, because there's actually a chorus on this bass, and I wanted to put the low frequencies in mono, just so that it's a bit more clear and it reduces muddiness. If it's in stereo, it will just you will just get too much information into your stereo mix. So this is how I did this. Then I have some imager in here, reducing the width a little bit. Because I like the fact that there's a chorus on it and then it makes it a bit wider, but I don't want it to take the whole stereo range. So I reduced the width here with this imager by Waves. And then some more compression. Oh no, it's actually a pull tech, reducing some low end. And yeah, that's basically it. And then we have the synth section, which I added some wolf compressor as well, just giving it some wow, some lo-fi, some texture, I guess. EQ, taking out some low mid frequencies, bringing up some more higher mid-range frequencies. Synth hit. Just EQing everything, basically taking out everything that I don't need. Taking out these low frequencies, taking out these super high frequencies. Same thing here. Taking out this low end, which you can't really hear anyways, but it's still there, and it's, if you leave it in there, it's going to interfere with the low end in the track, which you don't want. So I always take out everything that I don't need. Then same thing here, I think. Right. In the guitar, already showed you this chorus. Then I have some EQ going on as well. Yeah, taking out the high end as well and the low end. That's basically it. I think that for me, the most important thing, I mean, I guess generally the most important thing is just leveling the sounds. First leveling the sounds and then also choosing the right ones. And so once you choose the right sounds, you clean everything up. There's not much more that you need to do. Right now I can see that here, this kick. One thing that I like to do with my kicks, which is really a life hack for low end, I have some EQ here, taking out some of this, taking out some resonances, and some of the high end. But then I use this plugin called Duck, which is basically just, there's many different plugins that do the same thing, but I like to shape the waves of the kick especially to control the low end, because most of the times, like these waves, they're very, since they're in the low end, they're kind of long waves, which will interfere with your low end. And in order to control this, you can use EQ, but you're not really solving the problem there. The problem is actually these waves that are too loud or taking too much space. So what you can do is use something like Duck and go in there and take out some of the, or reduce some of the low end right here. So I'll show you how it sounds without it. And you can probably only hear this on speakers or headphones. But you can hear that the tail of the kick is very long. There's like this sub frequency going on for a long time. And in order, if you want to reduce it, create more space in the low end, doing something like this will really help you out without compromising, the punch of the kick. So I did this and then added some EQ again, just shaping the sound a bit more, and then clipping it as well, tiny bit. I don't even know if it's clipping. So yeah, then with the snare I'm just EQing it, taking out some resonances, hi-hats. Oh no, this is the clap, just EQing. Hi-hats, what's in there? EQ as well, just that's it. Then we have the drum bus, as I said, knock, some Wolf compressor, and that's it. And then I have this group. I group the whole beat, basically the whole instrumental track, reducing a little bit of the low end, reducing a bit of this kind of muddiness frequency that I do this quite often. Just shaping the track a bit more. Then I have some pull tech boosting some high end here, And I have this auto filter because I'm filtering the track, only the instrumental before the hook. I also have a group of the whole vocals. So once I have mixed the vocals in themselves, I create a folder of the vocals, of the complete, of all the vocals basically. And then I EQ it again.
Picking pieces back above the floor.
And I just try to figure out, try to make it sit in the whole mix here. Once I know, okay, the vocals sound good in themselves already, I can just do things to the whole group like this.
Picking pieces back above the floor.
Balancing the vocals a bit more, catching some peaks with this compressor.
Picking pieces back above the floor. Wanted to know.
It's not doing much really. Adding some soothe in the high end.
Wanted to know if your baby is coming home.
And then some compression.
Wanted to know.
Not doing much either. And yeah, this really helps me as well, because one thing that happens a lot when I mix my tracks is that sometimes the whole vocals are just too loud in the track and I don't notice, or the whole beat is too loud or whatever, and then you basically have two faders and you can leave everything as it is, the mix, the sound, the whole texture stays as it is, but then you can just go in there and fade all the vocals or the track itself, the instrumental. On the main, before sending it to the mastering, I have some EQ as well, doing the same thing here again, reducing some low end, reducing some low mid frequencies. Ozone 9, I use the master assistant quite often just to clean out some things. Usually it does too much, then I go in there and just edit it just as I want it to be.
Baby's coming home.
And then I have the maximizer. I turned this down to record this video, but it's usually on -1. Turning the whole thing up, and that's basically it. I took out the limiter to send it to mastering, and yeah. I also like to use this adapter metric AB because it helps me with mixing. Here I use the reference Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa, and basically you can just switch it around and compare the mixes. It just helps me by having a reference that sounds good already, and then having an idea where you want to go with the mix. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys learned something, and if you want to listen to the track, you can listen to it on all streaming platforms. I'll put it in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.